Please welcome the co-founder and CEO of CrowdRiff, Dan Holowack, for a conversation moderated by Skift editorial strategist Darren Free.
Hey, everybody. I have backdrop envy after seeing Beck's really cool backdrop. Welcome to today's session on how supporting local stakeholders can propel destination recovery, presented by our partner, CrowdRiff. So with the pandemic bringing travel to a virtual standstill, destination marketing organizations have been forced to think outside the box, to say the least. Over the past 8 or so months, the role of the DMO has shifted. So instead of attracting tourists from other regions, DMOs are finding ways to support local stakeholders, adapting their marketing messages to appeal to local residents and also supporting local businesses. I live in New York City, and I wouldn't have said this a month ago, but I kind of miss tourists right now. Not every day, but sometimes I miss them. But it has been hard to ignore the city's hyperlocal all-in campaign, which I see on bus shelters, billboards, etc. And New York's not alone in this trend of marketing to locals. So here to help us better understand the industry's pivot to local and how it can bring long-term value to the destination marketing mix is our friend, Dan Holowack. Dan, welcome.
Thank you so much, Darren. It's really, really a pleasure to be here on the 7th anniversary of Skift Global. And especially coming after Betsy and Beck's talk around locals making more conscious decisions about how they travel as well. Mm-hmm. This is a point in an industry now where I think that we're ready to transform. I've been taking time over the last several months and sometimes even selfishly just immersing myself in talking to other industry leaders just to gather perspective. And I've been overwhelmed with the commitment not only to, of course, bring back travel, but really what I'm hearing from destination leaders is this commitment to transform travel. And with it, transform the role of a destination. I think this is the moment. This is really the moment for the DMO. It really is. Nobody but the destination can accomplish the things that need to happen right now. And I think it's a moment where destinations will either fade or they will rise, and not only rise to influence travel and what's happening in how tourists move about the world, but influence the vibrancy and the quality of life of the communities and of their residents in a whole new way. There is this imperative now that they connect with their locals. These are your new visitors or nearby residences as they rebuild capacity. And so when you ask about the challenges, that really leads me to one of the big challenges. And I think that is creating a destination brand that is locally loved, locally relevant, a local authority. Destinations have spent so many years building a brand that is loved by the visitor. They've been marketing outward. And for some of them, this is the biggest way or the first time that they are connecting more deeply with locals. But beyond that, I think destinations are reconnecting with their real DNA, with what is truly unique about their communities, about their destination. That's the thing that visitors want to connect with too. And I think that's only going to make things stronger. The other piece here is around building consumer trust. That's been a hot topic. There's certainly a high bar on how you need to now build consumer trust in new ways around health and safety and authenticity. Your locals have an important role to play in that as well, so that visitors see that locals are comfortable, they're having these experiences, and I think that those local communities can help a lot there too.
That's great. Can you share any examples? What are some of the innovative ways that DMOs are responding to the challenges that you mentioned?
Yeah, of course. I mean, really, first off, the destinations that have spent time building these pathways, and by that I mean pathways into the community, into local stakeholders, whether that's smaller DMOs or businesses, they're definitely have a head start in how they are able to coordinate, amplify messages, disseminate information, but also pull information up, because especially state and country level destinations don't have all the information at the local level as things change so quickly. So one of the key pieces here is, and you just mentioned it, Darren, within New York City, is encouraging locals to rediscover their home. So my wife and I have started doing camping this summer. So we load up the car every weekend. We go to campsites in Ontario. We're also cycling along the waterfront more often. And I got to admit, there was a moment where I was cycling along the waterfront here in Toronto, and I kind of blinked and I was like, where are we right now?
Yeah.
Oh, right, this is Toronto. Like, this is awesome. And I think there's so many locals that haven't actually like broken from their routine in the past to rediscover this. And I've even had friends say to me, they've said, I'm rediscovering Ontario this summer. And I, of course, being in the space, I was thinking to myself, if only Destination Ontario could hear that phrase, how thrilled they would be. So under this theme of really helping locals rediscover what's in their own backyard, Tours in Newfoundland and Labrador has activated a great initiative called the Stay Home Year. They just came out and said it. Look, this is the Stay Home Year. This is what we're doing as a province, because we can't allow people to come into the province right now, where that would be the lion's share of their growth. And so they launched a beautiful website, stayhomeyear.ca. There's tools for local operators. They even bundled packages on the website for locals to click through, experience bundles that they can have across the province. And it's been really successful. They even took over a town square. Like, they really got immersed in this. And I think that it's something you really have to commit to as a destination, because you got to build those bridges with local communities. Mm-hmm. Another piece is the healthy pledge. I want to talk about this idea of pledges and the healthy pledge. Pledges have not been an entirely new thing, but it's been innovative in how they've been applied now. Some countries have even had a pledge in a passport that says, I, as a traveler, pledge to travel sustainably, make good, conscious decisions as a traveler. Right. But now this idea of a healthy pledge is it's kind of like leveling sort of this understanding between the travelers and the locals, because your locals are at times a little fearful of having travelers right now, depending on where they're from, how far away they are. And so I've seen places have a pledge that travelers take, but also a pledge for businesses. So North Carolina has done a great job of this. They have a Count on Me NC campaign, and countonmenc.org. There's now 3,500 businesses that are a part of this. And it says, in clear writing, all participating businesses, they pledge to, and then they have the list of all the things they pledge to. You want to take that a step further, you could have stickers, maybe. Have those businesses put a sticker on their front window. Now your destination brand is actually visible locally. You're building those relationships, maybe put a hashtag on there, and you can really weave your brand into the local community, start developing that local groundswell of activity and content. I've also seen in Stockton, California, they've done a great job with this. So Stockton, California has actually launched a healthy pledge program that's been really successful with local businesses. And they've taken it a step further. So as you can see in this visual, CrowdRiff launched a community-based site called Localhood right after the pandemic hit to help rebuild capacity and activate local ambassadors. And so Stockton, as a DMO, has been engaging with these local ambassadors. They've been building these mobile and visual first stories. And now they're being featured on the Stockton Localhood under this new badge of Healthy Pledge. It's a great way to bring people together. So all three of these examples are ones where the destination has successfully positioned themselves as an authority, as a leader locally in what you can rediscover. And at the same time, these locals are also creating content for the destination to use in the future.
So what does it take to get to this point for destinations? How can they be more agile? We've heard a lot about agility in the past couple of days in constructing these campaigns so that they respond in real time to the fluctuations in the marketplace.
Yeah.
That's the key, right?
However hard it is, it's even harder. Yeah. As I started to think more deeply about this in the past months and talking to destination leaders, it's of course not just having agility for your own destination, but how the destinations around you are behaving. What stage are they in? What's safe or not safe? What's the local perception there? So it's not just your state or country, it's the neighboring states and countries. So it's really this matrix of variables that you have to be consistently aware of and adapting to. So what I'm seeing is, like with a lot of things during this period of time, there's certain priorities that have been accelerated and compressed. And the biggest one I've seen is this move to digital, move to social. So destinations are, of course, finding that content on their website, content in social doing more agile kind of micro advertising and targeting is really, really nimble, so they can switch messages out. I've even seen people move from print visitors guides to digital visitor guides. Because of course, if you print a visitor's guide right now, it's out of date in a week, essentially. So the other pieces around the big campaigns we used to do, the big budget dollar campaigns, big impressions, what I'm hearing from destination leaders is that's not really in play anymore. The budget isn't available. And also, to be nimble, they're looking at more grassroots strategies that they can follow, more word of mouth, more coordination with partners. And that approach has really been the premise of something we've been working on, which is a new destination management solution that we've called the Story Network.
So tell us about the Story Network. That sounds interesting. What is it?
Sure. Yeah, we haven't talked too much about it. I mean, we shared a bit about localhood on the Skift Destination Summit, but it's really something that we've been quietly developing with a handful of really innovative states and provinces. So we spent the last few years learning about the limitations of this coordinating partner content at scale. A lot of destinations want to do this. There's just so many challenges in place. You've got the digital readiness of all those partners varies tremendously. Your partners want to see immediate value. You as the state or country, you don't want to be the bottleneck for this.
Yeah.
And so we put all this together, and after kind of years of research and learning, developed a solution where your partners can actually create these visual first stories across your region, and it's tailored to their key personas. So if there's particular cities or towns, there's always some unique news, information, content there that you want to unearth. Now they themselves can produce that content. And in the next visual here, you'll see how this content is actually sourced directly from your partners. So each one of these stories is actually from a different partner across British Columbia. They work together in this whole complete ecosystem, and they live across all the websites that you and your partners operate. So no matter where a local or a traveler engages with the content, they're working in concert and at scale. And you as the state or country destination are really the orchestrator, and it gives you the tools to drive more sustainability and more engagement and stay in lockstep with your partners. So Destination BC is actually using this during COVID to map their steps of recovery and stay in lockstep with their partners. So BC and all of their partners are making similar content at a similar time that's all coming and working together.
So, I think it's great that this is, operationally, this is helping with COVID. In terms of long-term value, rebuilding a DMO in this way, what's the long-term value of doing it that way?
Honestly, I really look at it as being about relevance. The DMO has struggled to prove their value in the past. They're not adequately funded. And yet they play this pivotal role in travel. Nobody but the destination has the priorities around the locals and the residents, the economic growth, the sustainability, and must maintain this level of balance. And this is an amazing time to be able to engage your locals when they're looking for these things, to step forward as that authority. And these are the relationships that I believe are going to kind of superpower the destination that is going to help it thrive, not just through COVID, but in the future as well. Imagine having all of these local ambassadors and all these insights locally, and how well connected and intelligent all of your messaging and storytelling can become.
Well, I think we're almost out of time, but before we go, if you could give the audience one takeaway from today's session, what would it be?
Sure. Maybe what I'll share with you is something that's really stuck with me. So in speaking with CEOs of different destinations at different levels, there's something that a destination CEO shared with me that I think about almost every day now. And he said, Dan, if all we do is bring back travel, shame on us. Because this is an opportunity to make travel more inclusive, more diverse, more sustainable. And just those words ring in my head every day now. really as a symbol of what we can all accomplish together and change this formula of travel and build something that's even stronger for the future, and where the destination takes a leading role.
Wow, that's an amazing place to end this, Dan. I really appreciate you joining us today, and here's to that wish for travel's future. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Darren.